So let's take a look at where we are now. I've done a couple of more cuts on the hood here. So you can see I've got this interesting scoop coming into the hood, and I've got a separate piece for the lights that'll be able to pop up. So I've got pop-up lights on this guy, and the fender is finished. And also, if you look at this, I've tightened up the edge right here on this part of the car. And if I take off the edges, we can see this now has a nice, crisp, tight edge to it that kind of flows along with the overall flow of the car, and it keeps this looking pretty freaking cool right here. Like this, as tight as this is a nice little tight line that runs throughout our whole entire mesh, and this runs all the way down the length of the car and all the way to the back, and it does give a really cool detailing aspect to this. And I've got the back tail finished of this, and what we're about to do right now, I've even got the top part of the door, well actually the roof started, so the roof's going up through here. So what I want to do right now, I'm going to turn off the NURM subdivision on both of these pieces, because what I want to do is, if I look at this from my side view, I can see that there is actually a intake right here. And if you want to know what I've been looking at this whole time, I've got a picture of these. So I've been looking at pictures of the NSX body styles. All of these body styles are not the exact same. They have changed over the years. Some of these are a little bit different. There's a little bit different variation. You can see some of these have the scoop piece. So it depends on the package of the car and things like that. So I'm just kind of using these as a guideline so I can see what the realistic car looks like. And I'm probably going to use this look right here. This kind of matches my um, blueprints. So I'm gonna come in here and start cutting this into the side of the car. So what I want to do is I want to come here to polygon mode, and this is kind of how I did the hood. So you can, if you didn't, even though we didn't get to go through that together, you guys will still get an idea of how the hood was built out. So I'm going to take these pieces, I'm going to pull this back. The great thing about this is, since this is a straight piece, it's not going to really change the variation of it that much. So I've got this piece, go to polygon mode, let's grab this piece in polygon mode, and let's make sure we're looking at this in perspective at the same time. So I've got my perspective window up, and I'm going to un-X-ray this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bevel this, and I'm going to change the bevel to go inward, and I'm going to put this in on a whole number, so -5 in, and then I'm going to hit apply. And what else I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, make sure we've applied this, okayed it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and go to this piece, and I'm going to go ahead and line this up too. I'm going to go right ahead and grab this guy and grab these polygons inside of here. And the reason why I'm doing this right after the other piece is because, for one, what's going to be really cool is I can go ahead and get these two pieces lined up so they're completely lined up, and I've got that. Actually, looking at this, I'm gonna have to give a little bit more space to this, but that's okay. I can go back and fix that in a little bit. So I'm gonna apply this, and what I'm gonna go in perspective is come in here, un-X-ray this, delete this, and delete this. Come to top level mode, come back to this guy over here, and I'm going to delete this and delete this. So I can see I have this inset now that goes in for both pieces. Now, this should line up exactly across this whole thing, which is great, and it does. Now, what I'm going to do is between these two pieces. I'm actually going to take this and I'm going to go to polygon mode, make it top level. Let's go to this back piece, go to polygon mode. I'm going to grab this, grab both of these guys, and this needs to come in just a little bit more. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's going to go in like that. Let's go to top level mode and let's go back to these polygons over here. I'm doing this one after another because I want to make sure I get these guys lined up as perfect as possible between two separate pieces. And you know, it gets it gets a little hairy trying to get these pieces lined up from two different shapes at this point, but we've got it. That's pretty good. We've got that pretty good. So what I want to do with this is I want to give some thickness to this. So here in perspective, I'm going to look at this and I'm going to grab these polygons right here and I'm going to get my bevel tool once again. And this time I'm going to use the outline function of my bevel. So I'm going to bevel it that way. I'm not going to extrude it in yet, so I'm going to keep this at 0 for the first round. And I'm going to say, instead of hitting apply, I'm going to say apply and continue. And I'll get my tool again, and then this time, actually, there we go. So now I'm going to turn off this outline, turn my outline to 0, and I'm just going to extrude this inward. And I'm going to make these whole numbers as much as possible, and say OK. Oh, looks like it got deselected. Not a problem. It's still got my last settings in it, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to say OK, and we can see my last settings that were in there are still good. They're still valid. And let's see if this is deep enough. If I need to go a little bit deeper. Let's go a little bit deeper. And let's make sure it doesn't cut through our body frame. Alright, so if we were to smooth this right now, let's just go ahead and throw a subnorms on it real quick. We can see that this has given us our basic shape. One thing I want to do with this, and I noticed this when I was looking at this from my side view, is that I need a little extra metal down here on the bottom. So I'm going to go in the vertex mode and grab all of this. I'm just going to kind of pull it up just a tiny bit. And I'm going to go back in here and go to edge mode. And let's grab these edges along the bottom part of this. And I'm really just doing this because I see the way the car is in real life. And there's actually a little bit of an edge right there where this goes to. Now I can fix this on my other piece by just moving up my door. Like I don't need to add any more geometry to my door in that same area because I already have enough polygons in that area on my actual car on the door, but I need a little bit more in the that part on the back part of this. So let's see what's selected. Nothing selected. Alright, that's smooth. Turn on the smooth on this guy. And we can see right here where this is not matching up. And all thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to vertex mode. And I'll grab all these vertices right here. And I'll pull these up a little bit. And this is a little bit tighter, and I think that I might add another line of vertices in here. This looks a little bit tighter on this piece than it does on the back piece, at least right in here. So what I'm going to do first, though, is I'm going to take care of this part because this needs to be flat. And if we look at our image again, we can see on the car body, this kind of like jets out of the car body. So we need it to be flat as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our handy dandy target weld. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to target weld. I want to target weld this vertex to the one that lays flat on the body. So I'm going to go from this one to this one, from this one to this one. And the reason why I do that, and the reason why it even makes a difference, is when we look at this, by doing it that way, we can see that we actually keep the body part nice and flat right here, and it carves into this nice shape right here. So we're going to tighten this up, just like our other piece. And we're going to do this real quick by just going into edge mode and grabbing all these edges right here. And we're going to say we want to connect them. And we're going to use the slide and slide this up. I'm just sliding this up until this highlight almost matches. Hit OK. And let's do the same thing here. Grab these edges. Let's say connect. And we'll do this until those two are pretty similar. Hit OK. So now we're kind of defining the shape of this a little bit better. And you don't want to go too far on one shape as opposed to the other. So let's do this. What I want to do is I want to go to edge mode and grab these edges going this way. And I'll say I want to connect it. And that tightens that up like that. And that's okay. We'll go back and get that a little bit cleaner. Especially on this piece, we can easily do this. Let's turn off our smooth for a second so we can see these pieces and see what's happening. So what I want to add another edge into is right in here. I want to add another edge along the inside of this. So I'm going to say I want to connect these. I'm going to slide this in a little bit. And let's see if we can do two segments and see if it'll. Let's turn on our subdivisions. Let's not try that. Let's just do one, and then we'll go back and we'll do the other one. Alright, we got that. Let's turn this off so we can see it. And then come back inside of here. Click one, hold shift, click the whole thing. It'll get my whole ring for me, which works really well. Grab this, and let's slide, and then smooth. And if we look at this, I think, let's look at this from our side view. You got to do a little bit of rearrangement. Let's turn this up to like 2. Let's do a little bit of rearranging with our edges a little bit. Let's pull this up a little bit. Let's not move it too far out of tangent with my other pieces. Let's do a little bit of rearranging. That looks good. That looks good. And this piece right here looks pretty good. I know what I'm going to do with this inside of here, just to make this a little bit cleaner. Let's go in here in vertex mode. Let's grab this guy, kind of pull him down. Let's give a little bit of space. I think those polygons are way too tight up in there. And I think by giving these guys a little bit of space, it will not be as pinched, not be as tight. and it'll have a little bit better rounding to it. There we go. All right. So we've got that going on. We've got this piece right here cut in here. And one of the last things we want to do, we can do this really quick. We want to do our back end piece. We want to go ahead and finish off our, we want to go ahead and actually finish off our trunk piece. And it's a separate piece as well. Let's go ahead and put this up to 2. Let's see this. Let's look at our polygon count. Polygon count's not that bad. This right here is giving me a little bit of issue, and I would probably go back and fix this up a little bit. And the way I would do that would be to come in here in vertex mode and then kind of widen these out a little bit so they don't get so tight. When they get tight like that, they'll start to make a nice crease. And right now I don't really need a crease, so I want to clean that up so there's no crease down in there. Now, one thing I can do, since I'm not using this for the entire mesh, I could actually, since this lays pretty flat right in here, I could actually weld this together. Like I could come in here and do this vertex mode, target weld, and weld this guy so we can find him. Let's weld this guy. Oops. Let's go into wireframe really quick. And we'll target weld this guy to here. And we'll target weld. Come out of NURMS. Sometimes the NURMS will make things act a little funky. Nope. This doesn't want to target weld it. Oh. Oh, he's being very stubborn right now. Doesn't want to target weld. Well, one thing we can still do is, let's see if it'll target weld to here. All right, so I could target weld that like that, and then get rid of these other ones right here. So I target weld these two together to get rid of this. And now I have like a little bit of weird geometry going on. It's not horrible. I probably would come in here and get my cut tool though. I come get my cut tool and cut this to here like this. And I would probably, more than likely, get rid of just this edge right here and just remove it and leave that triangle. The triangle right there is not really hurting the surface. It's not really changing anything. It kind of does dent in right there. I can always pull this back out. But the surface itself kind of does have this natural progression where it kind of goes in right about there. And as I said before, triangles aren't necessarily bad. You just need to figure out where you're going to put them. Now, n-gons, we've talked about n-gons are bad. And if I smooth this now, looking at this, it doesn't really change the shape of my topology, or it doesn't changes my topology, but it doesn't change the shape of my car, really. So I've got that nice and tight, got this to be able to flow across this, got rid of a couple of polygons and still kept the shape relatively simple. So it works for what we need right now. So when we come back, we're going to finish off the back end and finish off the trunk, and I'll see you in just a few.